Hello, and thank you for watching this video. This is brought to you by DigiFed. The objective of this video is to give you some guidelines to prepare your pitch for your application to the DigiFed call. I'm Régis Hamelin, CTO of Blue Morpho, and Blue Morpho is one of the partners of the DigiFed consortium. We assume that if you watch this video, you already have some information on what are the conditions to apply, the eligibility criteria. A number of webinars have been produced and are still available online. So for any information, you have to refer to the digifed.org website. All the documents related to the open calls are available online, and this specific video is targeting one call, which deadline is on the 9th of June 2020 at 5 p.m. Keep in mind that there's a time deadline. If for any further details, you can contact us at info@digifed.org. To support all the applicants in the preparation of their proposal, there will be some online bootcamps that will help you to prepare your technical offer. This is an opportunity for you to meet, on one-on-one sessions with the DRH which are present into DigiFed. So the first bootcamp on IoT will take place on the 5th of May. The second one on AI and software will take place on the 7th. Lighting, reliability, and an autonomous vehicle will be discussed during the bootcamp on the 11th of May. And the 13th of May, we will talk about cybersecurity. So make sure that you register to these one-on-one online bootcamps. There will be also, for the pitch training, some 1 or 2 dedicated sessions. So again, Digital Catapult, the University of Budapest, the University of Ljubljana, Ikernan, and Minalogic will be here to help you and will give you some guidance and feedbacks on the quality of your pitch. So you must have your first version of your pitch ready for the 18th or the 19th of May. There will be a 20 to 30 minute session with the DIH. You will pitch for 5 minutes. We will give you a number of feedbacks. And then on the 20th, if you want, if you wish, we will give you the support to record the pitch. So this is to give you the opportunity to record it online if you don't have the online tools to do that yourself. So your pitch can look like this kind of video where a slide deck is commented by someone on the microphone. So in this video, I want first to convince you that it is important for you to know how to pitch. And why is it important to pitch? Recently, I was into a pitching event in London, and someone said, startups today have become pitching factories. And it says that, okay, there's a good pitch, but nothing behind. Of course, we don't want this kind of profiles, and that's why we also have these documents that we want you to develop. But the pitch is also important. Let me tell you why, because if you don't pitch well, and you might have the best idea in the world, it can finish in the cemetery of the best ideas in the world. So pitching is very important. Let me talk to you about one particular movie that I really enjoyed. It's called The Prestige. Some of you might have seen him. It's about 2 magicians in the 19th century that were competing against each other. The first one was very creative, very inventive. He was a master of the craft and was really devoted to his art. And the other one was also really devoted to his art, but he was less creative. But he has one particular skill. He knew how to build the prestige of the trick. He knew how to sell the trick. And that's why he was much more successful than his competitor. Let me explain why it's important, and it relates to what we're doing in innovation. In 1981, XEROX had launched one product called the Star. It was a great product, very innovative, the first in the world capable to work with printers, working in WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get, and it could work in network. But in '79, Steve Jobs had a visit at the XEROX Palo Alto Research Center. You gave to XEROX the condition, okay, you can invest in my company, but to do so, I want to have access to your research center. I want to visit your research center. So even though he didn't know how all these ideas had been developed, technically speaking, he saw the concept. He saw the concept of the mouse, he saw the concept of the screen and the WYSIWYG interface. And the result is that in 1984, when he sold with Apple 250,000 Macintoshes, just for the year 1984. And for the XEROX store, it was sold only 30,000 units for the whole life of the product. So again, if you know how to sell, if you know how to market your product, you will have a much better success for your business. So what is a pitch? A pitch is a marketing presentation focused on your value creation. So we are all talking about marketing your ideas. Concise presentation, and the story must be to the point. So why pitching? You have to pitch all the time to federate, find partners, to convince banks or investors, or to sell to customers. So what do we expect from you in this presentation? So this must be a 5-minute pitch, not longer than that. And during this 5-minute pitch, you must deliver the description of the business potential of the solution you want to develop in DigiFed. Slightly differs from the impact section that you will have in your 10 pages application document. So here are all the elements, typical elements of the pitch, and some are really specific to DigiFed. So we need to have a presentation of the company, what is the problem, the use case scenario, what is the solution you want to develop, and what will be the contribution of DigiFed in this solution. What will be the unique value proposition of your solution? And what is the competition? What is the status of the market? Not only the size, but more important, we want to understand the drivers and the trends of the market. Which market segments you are targeting, who are your customers, and of course, what will be your position in the value chain. And once we have this landscape, we want to understand how you go to market, what is your market penetration strategy, and beyond DigiFed, for the conclusion, it will be interesting to know what will be the time to market beyond the project. Are you in tier 6 or 7 or 9? How much money you will need to go to market, and what is your ambition, how much turnover you want to generate thanks to this product. So this slide is here to help you to gather the information. This is not a template and it is not a form to fill. Your pitch must tell a story. It's not because I have 10 points that you can prepare 10 slides, 1 slide per presentation. It's possible, but if you need more, if you need less, then you are completely free. So what do we expect in the presentation of the company? Only standard information. We need the idea of your company, when was the company created, the size, approximate turnover. What is the company profile? Are you a small business, a mid-cap, or a startup? What is your standard line of business? If you are a startup, then are you backed by investors, or are you looking for investors? So you could be tempted to fill in a form, and this is not what we expect from you. So don't do this. Don't just fill in this form. This is not a form. This is not a template. You must tell us a story. We want to hear the backstory of your company. Tell us who you are. The ID of the card is the ID card of the company is also the ID card of its founders, its managing team, who is behind the business. And this photograph is quite famous. This is the founding team of Microsoft. So what is the problem? What is the use case scenario? Here, put us in your shoes. Put us in the shoes of someone who's going to use your product later. What is the use case? What is the problem we want to solve? And why it is important to solve this problem? what is the solution you want to develop, and what is the expected contribution of DigiFed in the solution. So again, here, don't enter into the technical details. The technical development must be detailed into your application form, the application document. Here, we want to understand what will be the solution, what it will look like, and what will be its usage, the functions that you want to deliver. And of course, how DigiFed will contribute. In DigiFed, you will choose a platform, and how this platform will contribute, what is the feature you want to develop for the product, and how will it generate value. So if you have difficulties to define what is your unique value proposition, then you can use this kind of template, this kind of chart that can help you to define that. It's called the value proposition canvas. It can be read from right to the left. On the right, you have the customer. On the left, it's the solution that you want to propose. It's you. So on the right, you have to explain what are the customer jobs. What is the daily job of your customer? This customer needs to perform this particular task in a given amount of time, for example. Here, you must be very specific. Don't explain this job with very generic wording like I must produce a product at low cost. This is not sufficient. This is not accurate enough. You will not be able to define what is the pain of the customer and what could be the gains of the customer. So the pains and the gains is where it hurts and how it can be improved. It's different from the pros and cons, different from the strengths and the weaknesses. We're really talking about the pain, what is hurting your customer. What is the pain of the customer is the first question you must answer when you define a product and a service. So on the left, you will come with your offer, either product or service, and you will have to explain how this product will relieve the pain of your customer or increase his gains. So this is how you can define a unique value proposition. There's one missing element here. You must position this value creation, this value proposition to the competition. And that's where you can explain how it is unique. Again, this is not a template to fill in. This is not a deliverable that we expect from you. This is just to help you to define your unique value proposition. What you have to deliver in your proposition, in your video is what is your UVP. Don't need this canvas. This is to help you to build your value proposition. Now, for the competition, this is a very important aspect. Very often, we don't want to look at the competition. So the easiest way to talk about it is to mention the names on a visual representation of your position. It's a mapping, basically it's a mapping. On the left, you have an example of how it can be designed. Usually we want to have your solution on the top right. This is a small tip for you. Another way, if you have too many features that you want to compare, if you have more features than the others, a very highly integrated solution, then it can be interesting to have a table. But again, just very simple information. For the market description, too often we have people delivering some big figures. So standard high-level market figures does not help to understand the market. What we need is to understand that market, and we want to see if you understand your market. What are the market drivers? Why the market is going to grow? Why it is big? This is the reason why we need to. We want from you the market drivers more than the figures. Figures are important, but explain your market. For the market strategy, there are two aspects for the market strategy. We want to have information on what is the targeted market segment, who are the targeted customers, maybe only a fraction of the market is interest for you. And it will also define your position in the value chain. And at the end, once you know what is your unique value proposition, what is the profile of your customers, what is your differentiation, we want to have your go-to-market strategy. How are you going to address this customer? Do you already have a market access? And if you already have a market access, is there any modification in your current business strategy? So beyond DigiFed, this is the conclusion of your pitch. What will be the time to market? At the end of the project, what will be the situation? How long would you need to go to the market? And what value will be generated for the company? What are the expected increase of turnover, mainly? How are you going to finance this? Do you need to raise funds? Can you do that organically? Are you going to use some loans or some banks? So maybe you think that it's 5 minutes is too short, or maybe you can do it, but you have to speak really fast to make it fit into 5 minutes. The clock is important because we won't have time to look at a 10 or 15 minutes video. This is not possible. So please remain in 5 minutes. This is important. If you spend more than 5 minutes to explain everything that I just mentioned, it's because you have too much information and you have to remove some. You can maybe simplify your wording, simplify the amount of information that you want to share. So a few tips on the style, very quickly. When you are making an oral presentation, it's difficult to have a lot of text. Here in this particular presentation, since it's a video and I wanted you to have all the details, I used a lot of text, but usually it's not recommended to have a lot of text. Please show, we won't have time to look at the video multiple times, so we will look at it once and then we will score it. So please use this kind of very visual slides. Avoid using some bullet points like that, because very often what the people do, they have a list of bullet points and they have a speech which is completely different. While I'm talking right now, you don't read the bullet points that are on the Bill Gates back. So we cannot listen or read at the same time. We can either look at the picture and listen to you. You are more important. Your speech is more important than what is written on the slide. So how many slides? That's a question we have very often. I said it already a little bit. It's really important to me. I've seen very good pitches with 3 or 5 slides. I've seen excellent pitch with 20 to 30 slides for the same duration, 5 minutes. What is important, the rule that I like to use, and you can use as well, is maybe to use one message per slide. One slide equal one message. If you use a quote, you have to read it. So again, we cannot read and listen to you at the same time. So if what is written is important, you must read it. During the presentation, your voice will be your body language. We won't see you unless you can use a camera, or if you want to use a camera. So use your voice and make it sing, in fact. This is an interesting exercise where you can apply the accent in a different position in the phrase, the sentence, and the meaning changes depending on where you put the accent. So if you have time, you can try that. So how to start the presentation? My advice is to use a hook. Not necessarily all the list of all the elements that I mentioned earlier are important. They must be in your slide deck. But you don't necessarily need to put them in that order. You can start wherever you want. And you must use a hook. The hook is very important. For example, you can use a problem that you want to solve and use the imagination of the audience. And for example, I recently saw a presentation for air quality management in the cities. And the first sentence of the pitch was, the pollution is a silent killer. And in fact, this was a very strong message right from the start of the presentation. So do not start to explain what you do, but try to explain why you have, what is the problem that you want to solve, and set the scene and try to send some images in the imagination of the audience. This is the best way to capture the interest of the audience from the start. So what are the usual mistakes? Don't try to say everything. The full business plan in 5 minutes is not possible. You have the document for that. In this video, we really want to understand what is your business skill, what is your capability to sell your ideas. And of course, we want to understand what is the business potential more than your skills. We want to avoid the technical details, so don't try to explain the technology because that could be your comfort zone, but explain how this will generate business, how this generates value. Don't oversell. Too many times people are going to become a world leader, paradigm change. It's more interesting to have a mix between blue sky pictures and facts and figures. So if you have financial data that you want to share, just share the key figures. Don't deliver a full table with all the calculations in it. We don't have time to read that into this kind of video. If you have that into the document, that's great. But just the key figures, what are, for example, the revenue perspective in the next 3 to 5 years. These are some kind of information that we'd like to see. So thank you very much. I hope you liked this video, that it was helpful for you to prepare your pitch. So again, you will have the possibility to make a quick rehearsal and get a feedback from the DIH of DigiFed. And in the meantime, I want to thank you for watching and wish you good luck for the preparation of your proposal. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.